Hi everyone, my name's James Ivey.
I'm Paul Drew.
From the Studio Rats.
Nice.
And we're still here, it's still the new year, and we're
just having an amp day.
We are having an amp off, if you will.
If you want.
So our Marshall video,
Yeah.
I think was very interesting, because it does prove that 100 watts doesn't necessarily mean 100 watts, be that on the numbers, or be it perceived in the room.
Yeah.
There's a definite difference between them.
Yeah.
Really, so quite a stark difference, certainly when you're standing this close to a 4x12 and your trousers are flapping.
Oh, yeah.
Which got us to thinking, as we do occasionally. These days, modern studio amps are not 100 watts, because how often, and we've said this many times, how often can you actually give a 100 watt amp the beans to sound as throaty and gorgeous as a 100 watt amp sounds when you can give it the beans?
I think we should also say 100 watts doesn't necessarily mean twice as loud as a 50 watt, 3 times as loud as a 30 watt.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
It doesn't compute like that.
No.
But what you are getting is when you have one of these smaller, I don't mean small, because it certainly isn't, you're not getting half the tone or half the volume or anything like that. It doesn't translate like that.
Well, this is what I think. I personally think that this would compete against a 100 watt Marshall in terms of SPL.
Yeah, so we thought, let's find out. This particular Matchless, the
Independence 35.
35.
It's a 35 watt Matchless amp, but it's EL34 based. So you can think of it
as a Vox 8030 type.
No.
No,
No, that's 84. So 34 was Marshall's.
Right.
But the way that it's voiced, the clean channel is very Voxy, and the drive channels go to. It's got two channels on the drive channel, and they're very much sort of more Marshall based, which is my favourite thing.
Hence, when I'm standing here next to it at full tilt, I'm thinking that doesn't sound that different.
Doesn't sound that different, does it?
To that thing or either of the others.
Feels different.
Yeah, it feels different, and it hasn't got the out of controlness that a 100 watt amp seems to have.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that. But the trick is this one, isn't it? You can have it in master volume or non-master volume mode, can't you? So at the moment,
take out the master volume.
Yeah, so giving it the full 35 watts of valve glory. So with that in mind, let's go through the channels.
Yeah.
We'll keep the amps that we're going to run through. Keep you in suspense on that one. We have 4 amps. We are going to go back to the DSL JCM 2000, because that's our kind of control, if you like. That's been the...
So, yeah, the idea of this video is to see how much louder is a 100 watt amp, we can use the Marshall for that, to a 35 watt amp, to a 15 watt amp, and I think we're going to drag in a couple of different 15 watt amps.
Yeah, very different price points as well, which I think is quite interesting.
Very different price points.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this. Sounds like a Vox.
Yep.
Yeah?
Now, when you, just to cut in, when you record using the Grossman or going into the 2 notes that you use, do you use it in non-master volume mode?
No, because I think the master volume on this, I think the master volume works really, really well at about sort of 1, 2 o'clock.
Right.
You don't really get any more volume past that.
Right.
You just get a bit more sort of gain.
Right.
Apparent.
Okay. Let's go for channel 2. That is epic.
It's epic. It's a brilliant sounding amp.
35 watts.
Yeah.
Plenty loud enough.
Plenty loud
I mean, my ears are still going.
Yeah.
Plenty loud enough.
My watch is going crazy, telling me to turn things down. Yeah, we don't know the measurements because we're not looking at that. So you guys can see all that, and then we can see at the end of the video what is actually, how they compare in terms of.
But to me, so that stood here, that doesn't sound that different. The clean channel sounded different. The clean channel sounded much cleaner.
Yeah.
Much more voxy.
It's got more it feels like it's got more headroom, even though it's a lower wattage amp.
Yeah. Whereas, once you get into the full beans, high gain stuff, those two sound very similar.
Yeah. Because it's Marshall voiced, I think.
Yeah. So let's swap that one out. Let's put the DSL back in its place.
Yeah.
So we get some actual numbers, some actual measurement numbers and stuff like that.
Let's do that. Oh, it's got some reverb in it.
Hasn't it?
Turn that down. Turn that down a bit.
We just popped a valve. So we have a different 100-watt Marshall in place. Greg's JCM 900, 100-watt, high gain dual reverb.
Yeah.
Lovely thing. 2x12 cabinet, we know we've bypassed it. We're going straight into the 4x12, so it's all fair and love and war and all that sort of stuff. Give it some means.
So clean channel first. That's funny.
I've got the flappy trouser thing
You've got
back
the flappy
again.
trousers, yeah. But it has like a little fuzzy element to it. It definitely, this amp is all about the drive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about clean.
No.
That's not,
but
I mean, the
Marshalls
Marshalls killed it.
Marshalls have never been about
No,
clean.
I know, that's fair, and that's fair. Yeah.
That's how you get a Marshall clean. What we want is this.
Let's
really,
do the proper test.
Oh, it's brutally loud.
Brutal. It's a brutal sounding amp.
But I don't think sonically it sounds that different. I mean,
It feels different.
Does it
weirdly?
feels different to play?
It's much more unwieldy.
Right, it's got less control.
Yeah. It's almost it's less dynamics.
Right.
I mean, there's loads of gain. You know, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But there's less dynamics. It doesn't feel as fast. The transients don't feel as fast with this as they do with the Matchless.
Right.
I don't know why.
But you would hope that there would be an actual difference, wouldn't you? The difference in price from this when it was new versus that when it was new. I mean, it's chalk a cheese.
Yeah.
You're talking a sub £1,000 amp, even when it was new.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be now. If they made these now, they wouldn't be, would they?
How much would they be, do you reckon? How much is a
I reckon
100-watt Marshall these days?
I reckon there'd be £1,500 to £1,800.
Yeah, I suppose it's not that much different, is it, really?
Well,
It's like twice.
yeah, twice the difference. Okay, let's bring in the 15-watt amps.
Yep, and see what we get.
Yeah, see what we get.
For Christmas, Paul would like...
Well, I bought this just before Christmas to make... I managed to find a second-hand one just to make some videos on it because loads of people... When I was doing my amp search, loads of people said you need to try the PT15 IR because it's really versatile in the way that it has IRs built in. We're not using any of that at the moment. We're just using the
amp, the valve ampness of it.
Exactly.
It's significantly easier to cart about.
It's much lighter, isn't it?
Much lighter.
Yeah.
Let's see if 15 watts can hold up with 100 watts or even 35 watts.
So are we going to turn the level up on the channel?
Oh, yeah, give everything the full bananas.
So it's full level on the clean channel
and
full level on the master.
Are they,
No.
No?
Oh, yeah, well, you can do that in a minute.
Yeah, all right.
Do that in a minute. I would argue and say not very clean.
I was about to say, what's interesting about all these amps is the more you crank them, how the power amp stage is giving us the distortion rather than just the preamp stage.
Yeah. So we're not worried about how no one's ever going to use that amp like that.
No.
It's
not designed to do that.
It's not designed.
But this is about actual SPL sound pressure level volume
exactly.
output.
Yeah. How loud can we get it?
Right. Ready?
But actually, I tell you what, just a quick test. Should we see at what sort of level
it breaks up?
Well, yeah, it's nice. It's a nice sort of clean tone.
I've had to bring the input gain down to get it clean.
Yeah. God, it's just rattling everything. It's loud. That's loud. Okay, let's do the gain channels on this.
Here we go.
Yeah, go on. Crank. Well, that sounds incredible. In here,
there's quite a lot of volume coming out. Quite a lot of hiss, has to be said.
Yeah.
By comparison to the Matchless.
Yeah, the Matchless is really quiet, isn't it?
Really super quiet. This amp is not designed to do that. Or it's designed to do it, but you would never do it.
I don't know. I mean, for me, if you're playing that sort of gain, you've got to expect
some hiss. Yeah, I mean, it's. But what's interesting is between 4 and full gain and full volume, there's very little volume difference.
Okay.
Watch this.
Just that.
So all the way off. But at 4, it sounded as loud in the room. Whether the numbers were different, we don't know.
You, like, every amp has its optimum,
a sweet spot.
Has a sweet spot, and this amp, if you want to keep that, the maximum headroom on this amp, it's got to be 4.
Yeah.
But is that channel 2 or 3?
That was channel 3.
Was that 3?
Yeah.
And that's with the gain at 6.
6 on the dial, about half past 1.
Okay, let's keep it at 4.
Yeah.
Crank the gain up on channel 3.
Okay, here we go. I would say the easiest amp to get nice feedback on was the Marshall.
Yeah.
That kind of proper.
Yeah.
It's still got the blues.
Yeah. Yes.
It's working hard to get that amount of power, though, isn't it? To get that volume.
But the drive channels in that are really tight and pristine. I like them. I like it. I really do like that amp. Okay, next one.
This came into my possession when we first started playing with inexpensive, competitively priced valve amps.
Yeah.
As in, can you get a valve amp for under 500 quid?
Yeah.
And having sent back the valve amp that should no longer be mentioned.
Never mention that thing again.
We got this, and we did a video on it, and it's amazing. This is the PRS MT 15.
The Matchless Independence 15.
Yep.
And when you got this,
Yep.
I did have a bit of a laugh about the the tacky LEDs. I wish you could switch that off. There might be a way of doing that. But we were seriously impressed with this amp.
This is a sub £600 amp.
Yes, compared to the Suhr amp, which is very slightly cheaper than, well, it's 2,800 quid.
Yeah,
is what it is.
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
This, I think, is going to...
Is this going to be the favourite amp ever?
Half of me hopes so, half of me hopes not, because it just blows the idea of spending lots of money on valve amps out the water. But I really like what this does.
Yeah, it's great.
It is dimed.
It's
pretty
rectifier sort of based. It's that sort of sound. But anyway, the clean channel sounds like this. Oh, it's noisy.
It's noisy.
I mean, I don't know. Excuse the playing, but
it sounded quite difficult to be. It was very difficult to be defined. It wasn't. The notes weren't very clearly defined.
That's very true. That is very true.
It was quite.
So let's bring it back to us. A point when it sounds where we think it sounds good.
It's still, I mean, that's well back now. That's about sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock on the master, on the lead master.
Yeah.
But it's got the definition back a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's still a big high gain.
That's easily the most modern sounding amp out of the bunch.
Yeah.
So if you like that sort of thing, I don't think out of all the amps, if I had to have one, I mean, I picked the Matchless.
Of course.
I'd go for that. It's great.
How
fantastic is that?
Yeah.
It does a clean channel.
Yep. It does a really good. Let's bring that back to something sensible.
Yeah. Go on.
Hang on.
It's brutal. It's got that sort of.
And you've got a treble boost on it as well. Maybe not with that guitar, but with a Les Paul, that's going to be very usable.
Sure. It's great.
It's a great little amp for not that much dough.
We sort of changed the point of the video, haven't we? The idea of the video was to see the difference in volume. And maybe we can put that at the end, or we can put that in the notes.
Yeah, we'll definitely put the numbers up because we've got the numbers on that camera. So,
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is, while absolute brute volume is important on a big stage, where you're running around, you're 50 yards from the amp, and you've got 10,000 people in front of you, that's when a 100-watt amp can be used as a 100-watt amp.
Yeah.
But in most studio-type environments, or where you're not the centre of attention, you're not Slash, you're not pick your legend.
Yeah. I think there's another thing as well. I think it's about these lower wattage amps. How useful are they at that sort of volume? Because they break up so much. But I think
you'd struggle if you took this out in place of a Marshall 100 in a place where you could use a Marshall 100.
If you wanted a clean sound,
you'd struggle.
At a loud volume, it's not going to do it. But if if you're looking for that brute power and the overdrive, it sounds fantastic.
I want to bring one more amp in.
Oh God, go on.
Just one more.
Go on then.
And this is truly the wild card. The final wild card.
That is a wild card.
Yeah, because we've been talking about valve amps. This isn't. And the one thing we always say is you can't compare transistor watts to valve watts. It's not the same thing.
Can we just say we couldn't... There's no speaker out on this, so we had to mic it up.
Yeah. So it's for a tuba 12. It's got creambacks in it, whereas this has got GT75s in it. Yada, yada, yada. But actual SPL output being picked up by that box down there is what we're measuring here.
Yeah.
This is only on the, well, we'll flick through the channels as well, but this is dimed. Input, we're on the crunch amp, gain's well up, volume's all the way up, the master's all the way up, the power control is on full tilt. This is a 100-watt tuba 12 amp.
Yeah.
And it's this loud.
That makes no sense. What makes no sense is that sounds fantastic compared to the other amps. It's much more
articulate.
More articulate. It's not as unruly.
But it's 100 watts. It is 100 watts.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the SPL. Yeah, my watch is going off again.
Yeah.
And yeah, every time we put like a really loud amp on, it goes off.
You are next to it as well.
Yeah,
so. But I think that's interesting. Mine's doing the same. I think that's really interesting, putting that in the mix, because it is genuinely 100 watts loud, I think.
That's incredible, isn't it?
So, food for thought, boys and girls. Have we come to a conclusion?
No.
Not really. Has it been quite a bit of fun to get some amps out and give them the beans? My JCM 2000 DSL now needs a bit of love, but you know, it's the new year. A good excuse to go and see Steve and take the TSL.
There was a tragedy.
There was a tragedy.
Casualty.
And to be fair, I do have those amps that we got at the auction recently to go and see him. So it's not like I'll be going over to see him for no reason. But they will follow once they've had a bit of love, because quite frankly, for any of you who've seen the live stream, the Rivera sounds amazing, but needs a bit of help. And the Music Man needs quite a bit of help. It still works, and it wasn't a pup. It wasn't a cheeky punt that's backfired. A pup.
Big off, it's fine.
A cheeky fun. Ooh, yes, that one. It hasn't backfired, but it certainly needs some cleaning and some switch cleaning and all those sort of things.
Yes.
But that video will follow. But really interesting.
How great is a Katana?
I hate to say it, but once again, Katana lobs a grenade into the valve amp camp and comes out smelling of roses.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? How good that thing is. Anyway, hope you guys got something out of that video. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click on the bell button and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul.
I'm James.
And we'll see you next time.